3:15 p.m. on November 9th, 1993, a street in Granite City, Illinois. No one knew that the moment a woman stepped into a stranger's car, a mystery would begin that would remain unsolved for more than 3 decades, and it would take nearly 33 years, thousands of days, investigations that seemed to reach dead ends, DNA evidence sitting silently inside archived case files, and the painful waiting of a family. Only then would this case finally return to the light. This is the case file of Randi Gail Sperino, a murder from 1993, and the man accused of committing it was only arrested after turning 70 years old. Open the file. November 9th, 1993, Granite City, Illinois, an industrial city near St. Louis, Missouri. Randi Gail Sperino disappeared. According to investigators, she was last seen getting into a vehicle. There was no indication she knew the man inside. Not a friend, not family, not an acquaintance. Investigators believe she was picked up while standing along the street. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. Not long afterward, a property owner discovered something horrifying. Randi Gail Sperino's body was found in a field. The scene was immediately secured. Investigators moved in. Crime scene photographs were taken. Evidence was collected. Every detail was documented. But there was a problem. In 1993, DNA technology was nothing like it is today. According to officials, Sperino had been beaten to death with a weapon investigators still have not publicly identified. This was not an accident. This was murder. But who did it? Investigators began searching. They followed every lead. Witnesses, relationships, her movements before she vanished, anyone who might have crossed paths with her, any possible connection. But years passed, and the case remained unanswered. Then one detail slowly became the center of everything. DNA. At the crime scene, investigators had recovered DNA evidence. Today, that may sound routine, but in the early 1990s, DNA could not instantly lead investigators to a killer. It was like holding a puzzle piece without knowing what picture it belonged to. Year after year, labs continued testing. Databases expanded. New records were added across the country. But the results stayed the same. No match, no suspect, no answers. 26 years. An amount of time long enough for many people to believe this case would never be solved. But some investigators refused to let it go. According to officials, the case was eventually transferred to forensic genealogy investigators, a method increasingly changing how America solves cold cases. Instead of waiting for traditional DNA database matches, investigators searched farther, deeper, more patiently. Labs across the country were examined. Still, nothing. Then came May 2025. A major decision was made. The evidence was sent to a laboratory in Texas, the same lab that had helped solve another decades-old Illinois Jane Doe case. This time, things changed. New information slowly led investigators back toward the Midwest. At first, one name, then another, family connections, genetic links, fragments of information. Investigators pieced together decades of missing history like rebuilding a shattered puzzle. Then, one name emerged, Albert L. Buddy Ziegler, 70 years old, according to authorities. He had no known personal connection to Randi Gail Sperino, not a friend, not someone she knew. Investigators believe he picked her up from the street. After nearly 33 years, on May 26, 2026, the Madison County State's Attorney's Office announced charges, 2 counts of first-degree murder. A case that had stretched across more than 3 decades finally had a suspect. But perhaps the most emotional moment did not happen inside a laboratory or inside an evidence room. It happened where Randi Gail Sperino's son was sitting. Wes Sperino, a man who had waited nearly 33 years. 33 years without knowing who took his mother away. 33 years wondering if the truth would ever come. During the announcement, he said, "I never thought this day would come. I thought I would die never knowing the truth. Finally, I can find peace. Simple words, but behind them, decades of loss, decades of waiting, and a wound that time alone could never heal. Today, Albert L. Buddy Ziegler remains in custody at the Madison County Jail. Court proceedings are now beginning, but investigators say the case is not over because, as officials made clear, this may once have been an unsolved mystery. But the investigation never truly stopped, and sometimes the secrets buried deepest simply take the longest to speak.